Hello, everyone, and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain. And today, it's been a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. Alright, folks, today is going to be yet another step towards the goal of winning the Stanley Cup before the allotted time runs out. So I think yeah, it happens. I use my brain to think sometimes. I think that we're getting at a junction of the challenge where I might be in need of sacrificing first rounders and stuff like that to get immediate help on the team. And I'm going to turn to you folks and see who it is that you feel like I should be targeting. I'm not necessarily saying just for a position. Is there a player in particular that I should be targeting to get? Obviously, some players are going to be impossible to get, like Mario Lemieux, and probably a guy like Nick Lidstrom. Sadly, is probably going to be impossible to get. But what is a player that could help the team? So this is my current lineup. Keep in mind Bill Guerin is hurt. So where is it that I could get some really much needed help to make the team get over the hump? Because we're having a okay season so far. It's definitely not great. It's not completely disastrous. I would like to be able to feel like I'm getting wins put together. So, is there a player from that timeline that you feel like I could get? Now, before every single video, I go in here every month and I look at what's on the trading block. But sadly, the best player available is Sergey Barrison, and I don't think he's going to help us all that much. Plus, Berezin's career was kind of short lived, so I'm really worried that, if I trade for him, he's going to start declining in ability. Now, that's me gaming the game because I know that the game uses recalc in challenges, which is not my favorite thing. I've mentioned that before because since I know players pretty good, I tend to know when they should be starting to decline and everything. So that's why I prefer to have the engine do the development so that it's a little bit more random. But anyway, so there's really nothing that's available right now. So we would probably have to build a trade from scratch. So let me know who you think that could help the team. Again, probably first we would have to identify we probably would have to identify which position needs a real serious upgrade, and then from there we would have to figure out which player to target. So something to mull over. I'm not necessarily saying we need to do the trade before the next video or something, but I'm open to ideas. Make this a little bit more interactive with me, if you would, and give you guys a voice as to whom I should be targeting. But anyway, so Bill Guerin is hurt still for a few months, so he's not coming back. Mogilny is going to be coming back here pretty soon. He's unable to play right now, but it's a day-to-day injury, so that's two right wingers right there. As far as the standings, we're sixth, but we have a losing record, and we're only 1 point ahead of ninth place Ottawa Senators. So we need a decent month here. We need to create some separation so that I feel better about making those trades I'm talking about. I'm all for sacrificing first rounders, but we also need to be winning games. We need to get in the playoffs, right? All right, so with all that being said, we start the month here on the road. We're going to visit Calgary and Edmonton. Weirdly enough, we're not going to be visiting Vancouver yet. And then we're going to have a stop in Chicago. So we're going to go ahead and advance that. And then, of course, we are going to take a look at the Calgary Flames. All right. How is William Davidson feeling? He's satisfied with my work. We went 5-6 last month, so we almost played for 500. It was a very similar month to the month of October. So yeah, we need a little bit more wins. Jeff Norton is available. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick him up. Rangers lose Edekan to torn back muscle out for 5 months. Ooh, that's going to hurt the Rangers a little bit. Now, Brett Edekan might not be Brian Leach, but he's still a pretty serviceable defenseman. Now, he's out for 5 months with a torn back muscle. You know, those guys are getting more comfortable. Oh, McGillney may be back soon. All right, so here we are in Calgary. It's December. It's probably cold as fudge sickles. Let's go ahead and take a look at their lineup. We have not played Calgary this season, so they have no injuries to speak of. Oh God, their talent is all over the place. Like, they have 5 and 4 star players, and then, you know, alpha star and 1 star players. All right, so Flames have Frédéric Chabot and Mike Vernon in net. Now, Mike Vernon is still pretty good at 4 stars, even though he's 35. Jurgis Beckham, Magnus Ragnar, Marcus Ragnarsson. Sorry, I guess it's still a bit early here. Gary Suter, Kevin Dahl, Al McInnes, Dmitry Yushkevich, Paul Ranheim, Gary Roberts, Corey Stillman, LeCompte, Eagles, RV, Morrison, Nieuwendyk, Reichel, Stuck, Bélanger, Fleury, Bill Muckholt, the 0 goal guy for the Sens in real life, Shakrai Chuck, and Litvinenko. Right. There's definitely a few interesting pieces in Calgary, but you know, they don't have a great record, and I think they just can't put it together. So they are 8-13-2. So let's go ahead and see if we can beat them. Alright, so Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us, and we are going to be facing Mike Vernon. Come on, Lightning, let's go. We can do this. I need a big month from Martin Straka. He's my top guy. Alright, so it starts with a win. It's in overtime, but it is a W nonetheless, and now we officially play for 500. So we won 4-3 in overtime in Calgary. Oh, it wasn't Abibulin's best game, but it was on the road, so we'll take the W here. We outshot the Flames 36-20. Michael Lanzos had a pretty good game. He was our first star with 2 assists. Theo Fleury was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Marcus Naslund was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. Right, so Flames scored first here in the first period, and then Maxim Sushinsky scored to tie the game from Sergey Brennan and Jonas Oglund. It was tied at 1-1. Then the Flames scored in the second period, took a 2-1 lead, and then Adrian Aucoin scored on the power play from Mikael Anderson. It was tied at 2-2. Then in the third period, the Flames took their third lead of the game, and guess what? We tied the game yet again. Marcus Naslund scored from Sean Chambers and Michael Lanzos. It was tied at 3. And of course, we went in overtime, and Valery Bury is today's hero. He gets a cape and a crown, assisted by Michael Lanzos and Marcus Naslund. 4-3 Tampa Bay win to start December. Pretty good. But Martin Straka got hurt. Although it's a day-to-day injury, so I guess it's not the end of the world, but still. A cut ear. Now, is it a playable injury? It is not. Alright, so I still have 1 spare, so they're going to get in. Of course, they're not going to be as good as Martin Straka. I guess Straka might have been hurt early in the game. He didn't get a single point. Alright, we are about to play the Oilers here in Edmonton. The Oilers have a similar record to the Flames. They are 9-13-1. We have not played them so far this season. Now, if I remember correctly, the Oilers have the goon and bruiser and dirty player team. Alright, so Dave Manson is hurt. He's not going to be playing. Michael Sikora is hurt. He's also not going to be playing. And Josef Baranek is hurt. Also not going to play. So lots of injuries in Edmonton. Plus Brendan Witt is hurt as well. He's not going to be playing either. Alright, so Dwayne Rosson and Jamie Storr in net. Yeah, that's not all that great. Alright, so Brendan Witt, Al Gill, Lance Pitlick, Jason Willie, no idea, Rodrigo Levens, and Jonathan Girard on D. Yeah, that's terrible. That's a terrible D. Shane Corson, Kirk Maltby, Barrett Moore, Ethan Morrow, Essa Tikkanen, Sonnenberg, Gilchrist, Hunter, Tucker, Savage, Bertuzzi, Bugberger, Mellon B, Joe Murphy, and Smith. Yeah, not the best lineup. Not the best lineup I've seen put together. Which, I'm probably going to lose. Usually when I say that, that's when I lose a game. So let's see what happens here. Johan Edberg is going to be in net for us. We're going to be facing Dwayne Roloson. And we lost 3-1. I called it, folks. I called it. I need to stop calling teams a bad lineup. It's like a bad omen for me. We were outshot 41-32 in that game. Kirk Maltby was the first of the game. He had 2 assists. Johan Edberg, despite the loss, was the second star with 38 saves. That's not his fault we lost. And Boris Mironov was the third star with a goal. Alright, so nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, the Oilers scored. It was 1-0. Then in the third period, Boris Mironov tied the game from Per Gustafsson and Valery Bure. We were tied at 1, and then the Oilers scored twice after that, including an empty netter, and we lost 3-1. So valiant effort from Edberg, but we just couldn't produce enough goals. Ooh, I have a trade proposal from the Nashville Predators. A night to remember for Scott Niedermayer. He had 4 assists against Montreal. Yeah, against the Abs, good job. Alexander McGillney might be back soon. Alright. Ooh, you want to trade me Draomir Kadlec for Jonas Oglund? I don't think so. Okay. I mean, Oglund hasn't been a world beater for me, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's sim one more day, see what happens here. Absolutely nothing. Alright, we are in Chicago to play against the Blackhawks. They are pretty good. They are 14-7-3, and we lost 3-1 against them earlier this season. Alright, so McGillney is going to be able to play with his injury if the coach so wants it to happen. So Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us, and we are going to be facing Ed Belfour, who is on a tier with 5 fires under his name. That might be a tough game. Might have been tough, but we won. That's a 2-1 overtime win, folks. So we are 2-1 so far this month. Both of our our wins were in overtime, but they were on the road, so that's good character right there. So I like that. All right, so a 2-1 win in overtime here in Chicago against the Hawks. Pretty even game as far as shots goes. Penalty minutes, we probably got a misconduct somewhere. So shots were 26-25 for us. Scott Young, our first star with an assist. Scott Lachance was the second star with a goal, and Ryan Smith was the third star with a goal as well. Alright, so nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, Ryan Smith scored from Scott Young and Teppo Numinen. Then the Hawks tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 2. Nobody scored in the third period. That went in overtime, where Markus Naslund scored on the power play from Vili Peltonen and Steve Richin. That was a 2-1 victory. Scott Lachance was the one in the box when we scored on the power play in overtime. All right, so 2-1, we will take it. Oh, and we have another injury. All right, so Mikael Anderson is hurt now. That's another day-to-day injury. We'll have to see what happens here. Chris Chelios played in his 1000th game against us. So that was a milestone game for that particular game. He didn't get a point. Chris Chelios is 36, and he is still a 3.5-star player. Of course, Chris Chelios played until he was 89 or something like that. So he still has a ways to go before he retires. And Martin Strakos feeling better. All right, let's sim one game and see what happens with the lineup here. Radek Tupal is on waivers, and so is Jeff Bukeboom. I'm not going to pick them up. And Pavel Demitra extends his goal streak to 5. So Pavel Demitra got a goal and an assist against the Flames. Alright, what do we have? Okay, so McGillney can play, and then Straka and Anderson are going to sit. Yeah, I'm good. I don't have to recall anybody just yet. Alright. Oh, alright, so I'm about to play my favorite team. Well, for the benefit of this video, my favorite team is the Tampa Bay Lightning, of course. Now, in real life, that is different. Although I can appreciate all the talent that Tampa Bay has currently in 2021 on their roster. That's a pretty solid roster right there. Alright, so we're about to face the Ottawa Senators. So Sens are 7-9-7. That's good for 10th in the East. So they have a lot of ties. Sens are fully healthy. So they have Patrick Lalime and Mika Kiprusov in net. Wow, that's going to be quite the tandem once they reach potential. Chris Pronger, Sean Brown, Brad Shaw, Lubomir Sekerash, Tony Lundman, and Brent Sopel on D. Yeah, it's not too bad, not too great. Surprised Brad Shaw is still there. He's an original Sen, and he's still there. Jamie Langenbrunner, Nicolishin, Dave Reed, Gerald Scaldi, Sylvain Turgeon, also an original Sen, Chris Gratton, Robert Lang, Jan Erdina, Alexei Yashin, Eric Rasmussen, Jody Hull, Trent McCleary, Selivanov, Verbeek, and Colt. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. They have some decent players. Their goaltenders are not up to maturity just yet. That could be a tough game. We're back home, by the way. So let's see how we handle being back home after the road trip. The Sens are going to send Patrick Lalime in net. We're going to go with the Moose, Johan Edberg. And we won 2-1. All right, so tight games, but they are W's. That's what matters. So now we are officially playing above 500. Ottawa did outshoot us 36-31. Sergey Barrison was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Gerald Scaldi was the second star with an assist, and Adrian Aucoin was the third star with an assist. 13,878 people in attendance for this game. Ottawa stroked first in the first period, but then Maxim Sushinsky tied the game on the power play from Markus Naslund, and Adrian Aucoin was tied at 1 after 1. Then nobody scored in the second period, and then the hero was Sergey Barrison early in the third period, assisted by Teppo Numminen. That was a 2-1 win. Oh, and we had a fight in the third period between Valerie Bourry and Jamie Langenbrunner. Wow. Not necessarily two guys that I can picture fighting all that much. Oh, who got hurt? Sean Chambers got hurt now. Oh, my. All right, so Gary Galley has tallied 600 points in his career. That's pretty good. Got that with a goal against the Devils. Gary Galley, 35 years old. He's still a 2-star player. Strong game for Saku Koivu. He had a hat trick in that same game against the Devils. Pierre Turgeon is suspended. Wow, he's going to miss one game. And McGillney's feeling better. All right, that's good. Right, we have a couple of days off here. Hopefully a few of those day-to-day injuries sort themselves out. We're starting to have a long list of names there. Even if they are day-to-day, that still affects the play of the team. Yeah, I know. Oh, okay, that's a playable injury, so he can do it. I trust in Sean Chambers. Yeah, he's starting to decline in ability. Pavel Bure has reached 300 goals in his career. With a goal against the Washington Capitals. Pavel Bure is 27 and still a 4-star player. Matt Sundin is suspended. He's going to miss 9 games. Yikes. And Roman Vopat in Phoenix is also suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. Alright, Mikael Anderson ahead of schedule. That's good. Alexander McGillney is completely recovered. That's also good. And Martin Straka is feeling better. That's definitely good. He's pretty much our best player. Even though he hasn't, as I recall, so far this season, he hasn't had like a really crazy good game yet. I'm waiting for him to break out. Alright, so let's take a look to make sure we're good here before we play the Flames. Oh, they're all playable injuries, so the coach can figure it out. Alright, so Calgary is in town, so we played them not too long ago. They are now 10-14-2, and of course we are 1-0. We beat them in overtime in the first game of the month. Let's see if we can beat them again at home. Oh, finally, they are playing Martin Straka at center. Dear God, that took a long time. Alright, so Mike Vernon is going to be in net for the Flames. Johan Edberg, wow. So I guess they're just giving the net to Edberg because he's playing really well right now. So he's in net for us. And we won 6-2. What a game. We outshot the Flames 38-22. Ryan Smith was the first star of the game with 3 goals and an assist. Steve Ruchin was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Scott Young was the third star with 2 assists. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of good offensive games so far this season, so that one is pretty cool. 14,815 people in attendance for the game. So we scored 4 times in the first period. We had Steve Ruchin from Adrian Aucoin and Vili Peltonen. Then Steve Ruchin again from Mikael Anderson. Then Ryan Smith scored from Per Gustafsson and Scott Young. And then Ryan Smith again. That was his 5th of the season from Sean Chambers and Scott Young. 4-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Martin Straka scored from Per Gustafsson and Ryan Smith. It was 5-0 at that point. Then the Flames scored twice before the end of the second period. It was 5-2 Tampa Bay after 2. And then in the third period, Ryan Smith completed his hat-trick. That was a power play goal from Steve Ruchin and Marcus Naslund. 6-2 the final score. Good game. Yeah. There was no stopping Ryan Smith. I know what was there. It was awesome. 3 goals and an assist. Good performance by the captain. Vincent Cavalier is suspended in Anaheim. He's going to miss 1 game. Mikael Anderson is feeling better, and Martin Straka is also feeling better. Of course, scoring a goal probably helps him feeling better about himself. Right, and now we are playing another game the very next day. And it's going to be in Uniondale against the Islanders. Now, the Islanders are struggling a little bit. They are 11-16. That's good for 12th in the East. And we played the Islanders once this season. We beat them 4-2 at home. We are now playing them on the road. Oh, they are sending Straka for this one. Trying to get him to completely heal, I guess. Alright, so Nikolai Abibulin is back in net, and he's going to be facing Glenn Healy. And it's a tie, 3-3 on the road. I'll take it. That's still a point. Right, so, yeah, we were outshot 44-29 in that one, so we can say thanks to Bibolin for that point. Marty McInnes scored first, was a first star. I got confused for a second. So Marty McInnes first star with 2 assists, Vili Peltonen the second star with an assist, and Steve Thomas was the third star with a goal and an assist. Right, so in the first period, we have Marcus Naslund scoring his 5th of the season from Per Gustafsson and Valerie Bourré. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Ryan Smith scored from Vili Peltonen and Brian Rafalski. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay at that point, and then the Islanders tied the game by scoring twice before the end of the period, so we were tied at 2 after 2. Then in the third period, the Islanders took the lead 3-2, but shortly after, Marcus Naslund scored on the power play from Alexander McGillney. It was tied at 3 at that point. And of course, nobody scored in overtime, so that's a 3-3 tie. And Sergey Barrison is hurt, so I guess that's his turn. I don't know for how long. Let's see here. 2 months. All right. With torn biceps. So Sergey Barrison is out for 2 months. Pierre Turgeon is back from suspension. Oh, I guess we didn't face him, huh? Al McInnes is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Stefan Yell extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Colorado. Which is funny because Stefan Yell did play for Colorado in real life. And Martin Straka is fully recovered. You better be back in the lineup and start producing. I made a mega trade to get you and Marcus Naslund, so you need to give me my money's worth. Alright, so Barrison is done for a while, 2 to 3 months. Alright, who are we recalling now? I don't have all that much talent left in the minors. Alright. Let's get Mikael Nylander up. Alright, so Mikael Nylander has been recalled. He's probably going to stay on the team for a while because Barrison is out for as long as Bill Guerin is going to be out for or thereabouts. Oh, injuries are part of the game. Open Ice leads to a productive night for Mike Modano, who had 4 assists against the Hawks. Vincent Cavalier is back from his suspension in Anaheim, and Mikael Anderson says, I am ready. Well, you were already playing before you were ready. And, yeah. Alright, so Sean Chambers is already doing better. Oh, so Brian Elmer is in hot water with head coach Bill Dineen for a series of pranks aimed at other teammates. These guys are adults, said the Flyers skipper, and they're supposed to be professionals. Why Brian is acting like a clown is beyond me. Stop clowning around, Brian. According to Dineen, Elmer will be fined for his unprofessional behavior. However, Elmer doesn't understand why his head coach is getting all worked up. I'm just having a little fun, blowing off some steam. He doesn't need to call me out in public. And finding me is going way too far. It's embarrassing to be singled out like that. I don't know. I guess I need to take things a little more seriously from now on. Where does Wes Walls come into play in that blurb? Was he the recipient of the... I don't know. Alright, so we are about to play in Pittsburgh for our scheduled loss of the month. I mean, we could always surprise them, I guess, but they've had our number this season. We are 0-3 against Pittsburgh. They are pretty good at 18-5-2. That's good for tops in the East. So, yeah. I mean, sure, we can beat them. I mean, technically, any team can beat any team, but that's. I wouldn't put, all of my savings on that. All right. So Johan Edberg is going to be back in net for us. He's 4 fires, and Andre Mazin is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. Oh my god, I should have put all of my savings on that game because we won 3-1. I could have been rich. I could have been stinky rich. The odds were probably like so low that I could have retired. Oh, oh well, that'll teach me for not being a betting man. I'm not much of a gambler. As funny as it is, because I like to do certain things at random, but I don't like the random aspect of gambling because it's not true randomness. It is mathematically engineered to not give you enough money often. So that's not true randomness. That's why I have problems with that. I prefer true randomness. I prefer like taking a die in my hand and I have perfectly balanced dice, don't get me wrong, because most dice that you will come across in your life are weighted differently, and that kind of messes up the odds because of that. So some numbers are going to show up a little bit more often because of the way that the dice are weighted. So I have perfectly weighted dice. So that I like that. I take that, I roll that, let faith decide what happens. But yeah, gambling, yeah, not so much because like I said, when you go to the slot machines and everything, you have zero control. It is all mathematically engineered to let you win a little bit here and there, but like the big cash prizes are engineered to, almost never come out. It is all predetermined. But anyway, I'm stopping that here. All right, so a 3-1 win in Pittsburgh. It was on the road nonetheless. So Johan Edberg is really good right now. So I don't mind him playing over Nikolai Abibulin right now because he's pretty hot. So Pittsburgh did outshoot us 38-30. Adrian Aucoin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Joe Mullen was the second star with an assist, and Johan Edberg was the third star with 37 saves. 15,187 people in attendance for this game. Oh, it was in Pittsburgh, so who cares, right? Who cares? I don't care about people in Pittsburgh. That's not true. If you're watching that and you're from Pittsburgh, well, I mean, I do care. A little, maybe. Well, I don't want anything to happen to you. Anyway, alright, so nobody scored in the first period, and then Pittsburgh opened up the scoring in the second. So we were down 1-0 after 2. It didn't look too good for us. But then we had a really strong third period. Adrian Aucoin tied the game from Ryan Smith and Martin Straka. Then Mikael Nylander said, "Hey, thank you for calling me up. I'm going to score on the power play and give us the lead and have the game-winning goal." Assisted by Alexander Mogilny. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay at that point, and then Marcus Naslund scored from Adrian Aucoin and Michael Lanzus. 3-1 Tampa Bay, the victory. Oh, dear God. So that was a very costly win. We lost Steve Ruchin and Mikael Anderson in the same game. I demand retribution. Oh, dear God, Steve Ruchin is out for 3 months. Mikael Anderson is only day-to-day, but Steve Ruchin is out for 3 months. A torn PCL. Joe Mullen got 1,200 points in his career in that game against us with his assist. So Joe Mullen is 41 years old, and he is still a 2.5-star player. And Sean Chambers is ready to go. Oh, dear God. That's not good. All right. Anderson, you're day-to-day, so that's fine. But we just lost our best center here for most of the rest of the season. Now I see why they call that a historical challenge. It's more like we're going to break your legs every game challenge. try to find enough warm bodies to put in shirts to play the next game challenge. All right. Gonna get Glenn Metropolitan. He's an alpha star. I know that he is an alpha star. He's probably not gonna play all that much. Glenn Metropolitan should be a somewhat responsible player, if unspectacular. Like Metropolitan wasn't a very flashy player, but he did play some decent seasons with Washington, and I know that some of my friends were pretty happy with his defensive play when he played for Montreal, I think. Alright, so Jaromir Jagr has recorded 300 goals in his career with 2 goals against the Florida Panthers. Jagr is 26 and still a 5-star player. And no one could stop Jeff Friesen. He had a hat trick against the Rangers. Suspension over for Roman Vopat, back in the lineup in Phoenix. Alright, so we are about to host the Oilers. So we've played the Oilers not too long ago, and we did lose in Edmonton. That was the second game of the video. That was a loss. After that, I made comments that I am not going to make again. Edmonton is now 12-17-1. We did lose 3-1 against them. We have a pretty depleted lineup at this point. So any wins is going to feel like a Stanley Cup in its own. All right. Oh, Glenn Metropolitan is going to be playing. I mean, he's a 12 as a playmaker, so yeah, he is only an alpha star, but a 12 is not. I mean, it's competent enough to play in the NHL. It's not superstar, of course, but he should be able to play. Now, Sean Chambers, on the other hand, I might want to look into replacing soon because he's only a 10. That's like the bare minimum. And I'm trying to win a cup, damn it. I don't want bare minimum. Alright, so Oilers are going to send Jamie Storr in net against us, and Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us. Come on, Nikolai. I'm going to need for you to pull some great games down the stretch here because we have a lot of injuries. And we lost 2-1, so we could not find our offense in that game. Oh, we got robbed. We outshot Edmonton 37-25, so we just got robbed by Jamie Storr. So Moore was the first star of the game. Barry Moore, he had 2 assists. Mikael Nylander was the second star with a goal. Wow, so Nylander has 2 goals in 2 games since recalling him. Then Jamie Storr, third star with 36 saves. 14,665 people in attendance for this game. We did score first. It was Mikael Nylander on the power play from Martin Straka. It was 1-0 at that point. Then the Oilers tied the game in the second period. And then Darcy Tucker scored the game winner with 9 minutes left to go in the game. We couldn't tie the game after that, so we lost 2-1 against Edmonton. So Edmonton has a poor record, but they are 2-0 against us. Al McInnes back from suspension in Calgary. That's good for them. All right. All right, no further punishment for Rodrigo Evans in Edmonton, so he's not suspended. And Mikael Anderson is feeling better. All right, we are going to be in Philadelphia to play against the Flyers now. Flyers are 16-11-3. That is good for 5th in the East. We played them once and we tied 3-3, so let's see if we can beat them this time. Quite a few games left in December here. Alright, so we're going with Johan Edberg. He's 5 fires, and we tend to win when he's in net, so why not, right? And Damian Rhodes is going to be in net for the Flyers. Come on, guys. Find your offense back. All right, not a perfect game by any means, but it's a W. We won 5-4, so we did find our offense back. Game shots were tied 31 apiece, and that one Sean Chambers was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Rod Brittamore was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Mikael Nylander, wow, I should have recalled you a lot sooner. Third star with 2 goals and an assist. What's that sorcery that's going on here? What form of voodoo did he perform to be called up and coming and playing like that? That's pretty cool, actually. Right, so the Flyers scored first, and then in the first period, and then we scored 4 unanswered goals. So Mikael Nylander scored on the power play from Sean Chambers. Then Martin Straka scored his 5th from Mikael Nylander and Per Gustafsson. Maxim Sushinsky from Teppo Numminen and Valerie Bourré. Then Mikael Nylander from Sean Chambers and Glenn Metropolitan. 4-1 Tampa Bay after 1. In the second period, the Flyers came to within 1. They scored twice, and then Vili Peltonen scored from Brian Rafalski and Glenn Metropolitan. 5-3 Tampa Bay after 2. About midway into the third period, the Flyers scored, came back to within 1, but we held on and we won 5-4. So, not the prettiest of games, but we won. And we managed to not get anybody hurt in that game. So, that's a double win right there. I should be getting double the points for that one. Alright, so Mike Hudson is on waivers, and so is Vasily Pankov. Not picking them up. Mikael Anderson feeling better. And now we are in Boston to play against the Bruins. Alright, so the Bruins are 14, 13, and 2. That's good for 7th in the East. We are 1-0 against Boston. It was one of those rare games where our offense ran on all cylinders because we won 7-2. But that was at home. Now we're playing them on the road, so that could be different. Martin Straka is our first line center, probably where he should have been all along, with Ruchin as the second center. That's what I would have done. But, I got tired of doing all of those changes. So that's why I have a coach now. That doesn't necessarily play the players where I would, but I can deal. Alright, Nikolai Abibulin is getting another shot in net here. He's going to be facing Jean-Marc Pelletier, who has 5 fires under his name, so that's going to be a tough game here. Come on, guys. And that's a shutout. Shutout victory for us. 2-0. Alright, so I asked for a good month of December, and, I'm going to knock on wood. There's actually wood next to me. There you go. Knocking on wood here that it's going to continue. We are playing pretty well in December here. We are playing pretty well against all teams not named the Edmonton Oilers, I should say. Alright, so a 2-0 victory here. So Nikolai Abibulin is the first star of the game. He had 31 saves, the W, and a shutout. Adam Oates is the second star without any points. And German Titov is the third star with an assist. And did I say that Boston outshot us 31-26 in that one? So yeah. Alright, nobody scored in the first period. And we scored both of our goals in the second period. Alexander McGillney scored from German Titov and Marcus Neslin. And Ryan Smith scored on the power play from Boris Mironov and Martin Straka. 2-0 Tampa Bay at that point. And that was, of course, the end of the game. Now I see I have 3 messages up there, and that makes me scared to press the continue button because I wonder how many of those are injuries for my team. Probably 3. No. Oh, I'll take it. Martin Straka converts to center. Good. That's where I would have wanted for you to play all along. Anyway. Maxim Sushinsky improves at center. That's good. German Titov improves at center. That's fine. Although you were really a winger, as far as I remember, most of your career. Alright, we did good. We did good. Alright, so we have one more game before Christmas. Ron Francis has a day-to-day injury, so he might miss a couple games for Pittsburgh. And Mikael Anderson is fully recovered. Ray Shepard has a good game. Hat-trick against Phoenix. 3-0. 3 goals. No assists. Alright, so Buffalo is not doing too good. They are 8-16-4. That's good for 13th in the East. We are 1-0 against Buffalo this season. We beat them 6-3 earlier this season. Alright, so Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us for that game, and Dominik Hasek is going to be in net for Buffalo. And that's another win for the Lightning, a 4-2 victory here against Buffalo. Buffalo outshot us 28-20. Wow, Hasek had a really bad game. That's very uncharacteristic of him. So we were outshot 28-20. Scott Young was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Jay Pandolfo was the second star with an assist. And Ryan Smith was the third star with a goal. Alexander McGillney opened up the scoring in the first. That was a power play goal from Adrian Aucoin and Sean Chambers. Then Martin Straka scored on the power play as well from Alexander McGillney and Sean Chambers. And Per Gustafsson scored from Scott Young. 3-0 Tampa Bay after one. Then nobody scored in the second period, and then in the third period, Ryan Smith made it 4-0 from Michael Lenzus and Boris Mironov. And then Buffalo Sabres scored twice, but it was too little too late, and we won 4-2. Oh, Teemu Selanne will miss 3 weeks in Phoenix with biceps tendonitis. Right, so we have a couple days off because it is Christmas. I never get a gift for Christmas. Nobody ever offers me a lopsided trade for me. So no Christmas gifts for ARG. Alright, we are going to be hosting the Florida Panthers. There's 3 games left here in December. 2 home games and an away game. So let's see how we can do for that little stretch left. So Panthers are doing okay. They are 13-11-5. That's good for 8th in the East. And we are 1-1 against the Panthers this season. So let's see what happens here. Kirk McLean is going to be in net for the Panthers. We are going with Nikolai Abibulin. Oh, that's a loss. Too much Christmas turkey in our bellies. We just couldn't win. We lost this game 5-3. We outshot Florida 31-30, so not a great game by Abibulin in that one. So Prokopiev was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Brian Rafalski was the second star with an assist, and Paul Carrier was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. 14,899 people were in attendance for this game. So Florida, or should I say Alexander Prokopiev, scored twice in the first period within 14 seconds, and there wasn't a single minute. We weren't up to the 1 minute mark in the first period, and we were already down 2-0. It's one of those games. Then in the second period, German Titov scored from Brian Rafalski and Ryan Smith. It was 2-1 Florida at that point. Then Florida scored. It was 3-1. Then Florida scored again, made it 4-1. Then Adrian Aucoin scored on the power play from Martin Straka, and then Mikael Andersson on the power play as well from Teppo Numinen and Martin Straka. It was 4-3 Florida at that point, but then they added 1 more goal, and the game was just out of reach at that point. We lost 5-3. Open ice leads to a productive night for Robert Zvela, whom I traded to Pittsburgh. He had 4 assists against the Suns. All right, we have a couple days off, and then we're going to be hosting the Islanders. Oh, Herb Brooks might be losing his job as the New Jersey coach. Keith Primo is suspended in Detroit. He's going to miss 2 games. Sergei Fedorov in that same game reached 600 points in his career with 3 assists against St. Louis. Sergey Fedorov is 29 and a 5-star player. There was no stopping Ray Shepard in that same game. He had a hat trick, 3 goals. Vincent Lecavalier is suspended again in Anaheim. That's twice this month. He's going to miss 7 games. Yikes. And suspension for Matthias Seeger playing in LA. He's going to miss 2 games. Alright, we are playing now the Islanders at home. Islanders are 14, 19, and 2 now. That's good for 9th in the East. We are 1-0-1 against them this season. Ron Extall is going to be in net for the Islanders, and we are going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. And we lost again. That's a 2-game losing streak. I don't like it. We lost 3-2. Oh yeah, that one is not on the goaltender too. We were outshot 40-29. Doug Brown was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Alexander McGillney was the second star with an assist. And Rob Niedermeyer was the third star with a goal and an assist. 15,214 people in attendance for this game. Mikael Nylander scored in the first period. That was his 5th already from Marcus Neslin and Valerie Bourret. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay at that point. Then Rob Niedermeyer tied the game. So 1-1 after 1. Then former Lightning Aaron Gavey scored a power play goal in the second period, make it 2-1 Islanders. Then Martin Straka tied the game early in the third. That was a power play goal from Mikael Anderson and Alexander McGillney, tied at 2, but then Doug Brown scored the game winner with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the third period, and we lost 3-2. Hopefully we can win against Carolina to turn things around a little bit. Oh, Zygmunt Palffy got hurt in that game against us. He's going to miss 8 weeks with what? With a fractured hand. Ouch. Jyrki Lume has a strong game in Vancouver. He has 4 assists against Colorado. And in that same game, Luc Robitaille had 3 goals and 2 assists. And Matt Sundin is finally back from suspension. Like 40 minutes ago, he was suspended, and he's just now coming back. All right. Last game of the month, I would like a win because we lost our last 2. So it's going to be in Carolina against the Hurricanes. We only played them once so far this season, and we tied 3-3. Hurricanes are 15, 30, 13, and 7. That's good for 6th in the East. Come on, guys. Let's turn this thing around and get a W here. We're going back to Johan Edberg. Ron Tugnut is going to be in net for Carolina. Go Lightning, go. Come on. It's a 1-1 tie. I guess I will take the point. Oh, we can say thanks to Johan Edberg for that one. He was peppered. We were outshot 44-28. So yeah, Edberg had a really good game in that one. Frederick Modine was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Brian Rafalski was the second star with an assist. And Ronald Petrovicki was the... Robert, sorry. There were 2 Petrovicki, and, you know, both names start with R. Robert Petrovicki got an assist and the 3rd star. Alright, so nobody scored in the first period. And then Mikael Nylander. Wow. Why didn't I recall you earlier? Mikael Nylander is on a complete tear here. He scored again from Ryan Smith and Brian Rafalski. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then in the third, Carolina tied the game. Nobody scored in overtime. So we end the calendar year with a tie, a lukewarm tie. Ray Whitney extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Kings. A strong game for Ron Francis. He had 4 assists against the Panthers, not Planters, Panthers. No L there. All right. And the player poll results. Alright, so the best skater is Pavel Bure. The hardest shot is Al McInnes. The toughest is Stu Grimson. Fastest is Pavel Bure. Best role model, Steve Yzerman. Cleanest is Brian Campbell. Controversial, Joe Mullen. Overrated, Alexander Daigle. Underrated, Guy Carbonneau. Smartest, Steve Yzerman. Toughest goalie to beat, Dominic Hasek. And the coach you'd most like to play for is always Scotty Bowman. Alright, so we are on December 31st. I'm going to sim one more date so that we are now officially in 1999. Jeremy Roenick has a memorable game. He had a hat trick against the Islanders, 3 goals, and Ray Shepherd named Star of the Month alongside Magnus Eriksson, the goaltender in Dallas. Right, so Ray Shepherd and Magnus Eriksson are the players of the month. Well, what a month it's been. We've turned things around quite a bit. The standings are still pretty tight, but with the play that we've had in December, we managed to clinch. Well, it's not clinched yet, but we managed to rise at the top of our section, our division. So we are third in the East right now. As long as we can hold on to that, Carolina would be our closest pursuant. And yeah, there's only we're only 1 point ahead of them. So that's the beauty of that playoff format, is that even if our record is not the greatest, if we have the best record in our division, we are assured to be in the playoffs at least. So yeah. Our season is not perfect. We have a lot of injuries. A couple of them are to pretty good players, Guerin and Ruchin. That kind of hurts, but some other players came in and showed us that they should never be sent back down. And I am, of course, talking about Mikael Nylander. So he's been on a tear since I recalled him. So that's pretty good. So that's what it looks like in the East. We're going to take a look at the West as well. So the Wings, as usual, are first. That's almost a given every year. Almost. LA is second, Colorado, Dallas, Chicago, Vancouver, Nashville, and San Jose are the top teams. The worst 2 teams in the league are in the Western Conference, and it is Phoenix and Anaheim with 16 and 18 points, respectively. All right. So yeah, Nylander is a point per game since I recalled him, 6 goals and an assist. All right, let's take a look at stats here. All right, so Ryan Smith and Martin Straka are our best players with 24 points each. Smith played 33 games, Straka 30. Our best defenseman would be Brian Rafalski. He had a quiet month. I didn't see his name much today. He has 16 points in 34 games. So, we are not the most offensive team out there, but we're able to win games. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Of course, it would be really awesome to see, bigger numbers for points, but I'll take the wins over that any day of the week. So that's what we look like statistically. So a pretty well-rounded team. We don't have like a guy with 51 points and then the next closest one has 22, So we're pretty well-rounded. Now, as far as league leaders, we're not going to be seeing our name there anywhere. The best goal scorer is Joe Sakic. He has 32 goals. The best passer is Mario Lemieux. He has 34 assists. And the best scorer is Joe Sakic. He has 62 points. That's 11 more than Mario Lemieux, who is second. Yeah, we're not anywhere here. That's okay. Now for the goaltenders, now that's gonna be interesting because Bibulin kind of lost his starter job there, and I don't blame the coach. I have in the past. I have in Franchise Hockey Manager 6. I have fired a coach over that, but right now it makes sense to me because Edberg is actually playing really well. So I am not blaming him. It is what it is. So Abibulin is at 928 save percentage. That's pretty good. He's 8 for goal save against average, and I'm curious to see if Edberg is going to climb there somewhere. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today, I believe. I am at the point where I save the game. And I'm also at the point where I say thank you for tuning in as usual. And if you've liked the video, and you would like to help support me and my channel, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.